Okay, so I've gone ahead and made the changes to the two conky config files, the Gotham conky and my custom conky, and I wanted to make changes that would reflect this the colors in the desktop. I really liked what Karl Schneider, the artist, did here with this wallpaper. He's added a red to yellow gradient. Looks really nice. So I added red and orange and grey elements or colors into both those two conkies. I may actually go and change this conky, perhaps make all these values here orange. But anyhow, let's go back to the conky file and let's step through some of the commands and what you need to do to make changes to the colors, etc. So anything under text is going to be what's going to be displayed in your conky. You can see here Ubuntu 16.04. So the commands before Ubuntu 16.04 provide the font and color of that font. So Ubuntu is the font. It's going to be bold and size 10, color gray, and that would also be reflected in the next line as well, node name, as you can see here. So I've chosen to make those gray. The next line is the time displayed as hours and minutes, and the color is red, font size is 36. There's an offset here, just a vertical offset to provide some separation between the time and the date. The next line here, this orange, Thursday 27th October 2016, is obviously the date. So time here is the actual day, the date, the month and the year, and the font color is orange and the size is 15. There's a vertical offset again. The next line here is this heading system, and there's some information here about my particular system. I've made the system red, size 10, font Arial. HR-2 provides a line, and it's the pixel width of that line is 2. You can actually make it thicker by increasing that number. And then we have sysname, which is the command, and we have my text here, Intel Core. This is my core, my CPU. It's a Core 2 Q6600. There's some alignment here, just align to right. Frequency of CPU 0, which is 2.4 gigahertz. That's the frequency of my CPU. CPU 0 is the overall frequency, or if you like, the average frequency. I've actually got 4 cores, 4 CPU cores. They all run at 2.4 gigahertz. So that's the reason for the CPU 0. This command displays the kernel. This command displays the uptime, how long you've been logged on to your system. This command displays the file type, so XCT4. The next one is the processors. So I've got 4 cores, as I mentioned before. the average, so this is displaying the utilization of each core, CPU being the average. So the average across all 4 cores is displayed here, and is specify that with CPU 0. And each of the other CPUs, CPU 1, 2, 3, and 4, are shown here, or the command for those are CPU 1, 2, 3, and 4. At the very end, we have a CPU bar graph. So the first one is CPU bar graph of CPU 0, which is the average of all 4 cores. And here are the CPU 1, 2, 3, and 4 bar graphs. I've made those the color orange, as you can see, and the text, I've made that text gray. Okay, moving on to the next section, which I called top processes. So these will display the top processes, or the software that's utilizing the most of your CPU. And I've elected to show the top 5. So top mem 1 being the number 1, the software that's utilizing the most of your CPU. Top mem 2, 3, and 4. If you want to see further or increase the number, you can add another line here. Just copy and paste this into the next line and increase the numbers to 6, 7, 8, and so forth. Also, I'd like to make note that carriage return, or an empty line, actually reflects in your conky. So you can see here between top processes and temperatures, there's actually a carriage return, and that's reflected here. So just be aware of that. The next section is temperatures. So this is the temperature of your CPU, reflected as a percentage, and you can delete, if you have, for example, a 2-core system, just delete the temp 3 and 4 lines. And also, I forgot to mention that for the CPUs, if you've got a 1 or 2-core CPU system, delete the CPU 3 and 4, CPU 2, etc., just to reflect your system. So for the temperatures, the text temperatures, I've made that red, and the line after that red as well. Just following the same theme. Now we have temp 1, temp 2, temp 3, and 4. They're all displayed in color gray. The font because I haven't specified a font here, it actually takes on the default font, which is, as I mentioned before, Ubuntu size 10 up here. Where are we? Ubuntu size 10. So moving on to the next section, which is memory. Again, it's red, and it's Arial bold size 10. And here we're showing the RAM. We're showing the maximum amount of RAM and the utilization. So I'm at 84%. And there's a memory bar here, a bar graph of the memory utilization. and it's in orange. Next section, or in the memory section, we also have the top five software that's utilizing the memory. So you can see here Firefox is using 21%. It's quite a lot, and you can increase this as well. Like I said before, you can add 6, 7, and 8, or 9, whatever you like, to increase the number. Of actually only showing the top 5. Just increment the numbers and copy the lines. The next one is hard disk drive. So it's showing the utilization of my hard disk, or this particular partition, and it's showing file size used, the hash being root. I've actually said here root. If, for example, you want to show, if you have got a separate home partition, you can type in home here and change all the forward slashes to home, and it will display the utilization of your home partition. Or if you like, you can also duplicate all of these lines and add home and root to show both. Now the next section is the network. I've added some text here, but basically also in Conky, anything with a hash sign in front, a line with a hash sign in front is just text and is not a command and will not show up in your Conky. So going back to network, we have that also in red, and the text after network in grey. Now the important part here is the name of your Ethernet port or Ethernet controller. You need to add that here. Replace this and this. This is the address. So this is the IP address of your Ethernet controller. This is the wired one which is should plug your Ethernet or Cat5 cable into. To find the name of your Ethernet controller, you need to open up a terminal. Well, let's do that. Type in ifconfig. I can't type. And you can see that my Ethernet controller, the name of it is ENP5S0. If you want to know the name of your wireless controller, it's IW. The command is IW config. I don't actually have one, but I did plug in a USB Wi-Fi dongle and it's showing up here. That would be the name I would use if I was to use that Wi-Fi dongle. So type that in here and update it with your, wherever you see ENP5S0, replace it with the name of your Ethernet controller. So all these commands will show you the IP address of your controller, the download speed and upload speed, not actually downloading or uploading at the moment, and the total amount of downloaded and uploaded in megabytes. This displays the downloaded and uploaded speed of your controller, and you can specify the color of the border and the peak color and the null or zero color, so that it will be a gradient of, in my case it's red to orange. Now in order to find out, now this has to be a hex number, so in order to find out what the hex color code is for red and orange, you need a color picker, or you can actually go to the web and in Google just type a hex code. In this case I've typed in white, which is represented by hash and 6 Fs. You can see that here, that's white, and it'll come up with this little color, this how would I explain it, hex color. I actually paused the video there. So in order to, okay, so color gray is the color of the border around the down speed graph, and you can see it also here, color gray of the up speed graph. So if you wanted to change the color of that, the border of the graph, here's where to do it, here and here. And down speed graph of this particular controller, my Ethernet controller, this color here represents the peak, the color of the peak or high, when there's a high download, and this color represents when there's a low value for the download speed. And it's actually reversed here just to show a bit of contrast. For the up speed it's reversed, the color, just to show a little bit of a difference. The color here needs to be a hex color code. It's also referred to as HTML color code. It's 6 numbers or digits, or 6 letters or digits in hexadecimal, and FF0000 represents red in a hex color code system, and this number or letter combination represents orange. If you want to, if you want to know, if you want to find out what the hex color code is of something on your desktop, or just a color that you want to know, you want to find out the color code of, there's a couple ways to do that. You can go to Google, type in hash and 6 Fs, and it'll come up with this color scheme, or the color values. And for white, so white is represented by hash and the 6 Fs, and black is all zeros, and somewhere in between is all the other colors, but in this case we're just sampling red. Red itself, as you can see, just pure red in RGB is red, green, blue is 255, 0 green and 0 blue, and the hex value is hash FF0000. if you wanted to know, for example, an orange, that would be a close representation of orange, FF8800. So I'm actually going to add that into our conky file because I wanted to go from red to orange. Let's go back to the conky file, paste that in, and so I've just done that for the down speed graph, and let's do the same for the up speed graph. So for the down speed graph we're going from red to orange, and for the up speed graph, orange to red. And it should show, I'm not downloading anything, but and it's not showing that here. And if you can actually, you can put the hash in front, or you can leave it. You don't have to have the hash in front, but I'm going to add the hash just to show that it's hexadecimal color code, and save it. Actually, it looks like you need to remove the hash. So let's remove the hash. We should start seeing red and orange now. There you go. Okay, another way, or in Ubuntu at least, to pick the color of something on your desktop is to install gpick. It's in the Ubuntu Software Center. You can type in color picker. Oops. And it will display. Here it is. gpick is an advanced color picker. So I went ahead and installed it. I also installed the color picker for gedit. So with this little utility, or this little program, I can sample, for example, this orange, and it tells me the hex number there, E06110. And if I wanted to know what the color of the red is, oh, it's not updating. There you go, FF0000. Another way to do it is if you've got GIMP, which is like Photoshop. GIMP has just like Photoshop has a foreground and background color. If you click on the foreground color, it'll come up with change foreground color, and you click on this little symbol here, click the eyedropper. You can go and sample anything on your desktop, and this HTML notation is the hexadecimal representation, or number, or code, etc. There you go, it actually says it there. Hexadecimal color notation as used in HTML. So if I was to click on red again, it should show, oh, it didn't actually, let's try again. It should be FF0000. So that's another way to do that. Let's go back to the conky config file. Yeah, so once you've changed the color that you'd like to see on your down speed and up speed graph, you're basically set. You can actually, this color red here is the bottom line. You can actually add to this conky your wireless Ethernet controller. I've commented out all that section. But again, what you need to do is go and change the colors and replace EP5S0 with your wireless controller, the name of your wireless controller. Use the IW config command in your terminal, like I mentioned before, to find out the name of your wireless network controller. And that's basically it. I think I've ran through everything with Conky. So I like the way these two Conkies look, and I'm gonna leave them this way. So all I did was I also went and made them pseudo transparent to show that little drop shadow. If you make them transparent, it just blends into the desktop. But I like that 3D look, so for this particular desktop, so I did that for both, and I moved this one a bit to the right, or to the left, and a little bit down. I'll show you a horizontal gap of 50 and a vertical gap of 50. And the last thing to mention about conky-manager is you want to go into here, into the settings, and click, make this is important, run conky at system startup, turn that on. Once you do that, it will, when you reboot the system, it will the two conkies, or the ones that are ticked, will appear. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to provide this custom conky, so go ahead and customize it to your liking, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Ciao. Bye.